everyone, it's Gigi. Today, I want to dive into something that's been on my mind lately. It's the double standards in dating world. Specifically, what women are allowed to want out loud. Why we feel like we have to apologize for it and how easily people twist our standards into something negative. It's been coming up in recent conversation I've had and it keeps popping up everywhere on social media, in articles, comment sections. And somehow, every time the facts circle back, I end up at this one tiny scene from an old movie that always make me think double standards are just vicious. That scene is from a movie that I love. It's called Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, starring Marilyn Monroe. And if you haven't seen it yet, then you really should. So Marilyn plays Lorelai, a showgirl engaged to this rich guy named Gus. And his father, Mr. Esmond, has already decided she's a gold digging blonde, a shallow, not serious, not worthy girl, although he has never even met her. But he's made up his mind she's trouble and she's just that way. Then, toward the end, she finally meets the father face to face. He looks at her exactly the way you'd expect. Dismissive, superior, seeing only the pretty exterior, assuming she's after his son's money. Actually, she's after the father money, but you really have to see the movie. That's when she turns it around with this simple, calm line. Don't you know that a man being rich is like a girl being pretty? You might not marry her just because she's pretty, but my goodness, doesn't it help? And when he tries to interrupt her, she keeps going steady and unshaken, basically asking, why is it wrong for me to want those things? And boom, everything shifts. Suddenly, it's not just about her character or Marilyn or the 1950s glamour. It's about every woman who's ever been judged for naming what she actually wants. Because the second a woman says she wants a man who is successful, stable, powerful, financially solid, people hear gold digger. But when a man says he wants a beautiful, smart, independent woman, he is driven, he is ambitious, a man with a vision. No one bats an eye. That double standard has been nagging at me more than usual lately. Why does ambition sound noble in men but so suspicious in women? And here's what I think. Society is totally fine when a woman is the one being picked. When someone decides she's the prize, the dream girl, the one he wants, but the moment she turns around and says, actually, I have standards too. I'm choosing carefully. I want someone who brings real security and real potential. Suddenly, it feels threatening. Like, wait, she's not just grateful to be chosen, she has her own list. When a woman says, I want security, often people hear, I want luxury. But those are not the same things at all. Security isn't greed, it's just understanding how life actually works. It's maturity. Marilyn wasn't asking for excess. She was asking for enlightenment. If fathers want the absolute best future for their daughter, why does it become a problem the moment a woman wants that same future for herself? It's such a strange contradiction. We teach girls to dream big, and then we get judged when part of the dream includes stability. Most of the time, when we say we want a successful partner, we aren't talking about private jets or designer things. We are talking about emotional safety, consistency, a life that doesn't feel like it could collapse tomorrow. Because love by itself doesn't pay the bills. Love by itself doesn't remove chronic stress. Love doesn't magically fix the anxiety of wondering if rent's covered next month or if you can afford to start a family one day. Wanting stability doesn't make you less real or less romantic. It just means you are an adult who gets what adulthood requires. And this pattern doesn't stop on money or success. It shows up in physical preferences too. And honestly, it flips in the other direction sometimes. Think about it. A woman can casually say on a dating profile or in conversation, I prefer a tall guy, or I want someone taller than me. And it's often treated as just an harmless preference. People might roll their eyes, but it rarely gets labeled as shallow or cruel. It's normalized. Apps even let you filter for it. But flip it. If a man says out loud, I prefer someone who's fit, or I like slimmer women, or even just a body type preference, suddenly the tone changes. He gets called shallow, body shaming, obsessed with look, insensitive, and the backlash can be instant and intense. Both are physical traits. Both are largely out of someone's full control. I almost completely. Weight influenced by many factors, including genetics, health, and lifestyle. Yet, one gets past adjust preferences while the other gets policed for a problematic. I'm not saying either is right or wrong to have. I think we all have attractions we can't fully explain. Me, for example, I'm attracted only to Asians. So really you can't explain it. You can't explain attraction. But the point is the inconsistency in how society reacts. Why is one openly acceptable while the other trigger moral outrage? It feels like another layer of the same thing. Women stating desire clearly can threaten the status quo. But when men do it in certain areas, it hits different sensitivities around body image and judgment. It all circles back to the same question. Why do we police what people are allowed to want and say depending on who's saying it? Men are allowed to chase comfort through achievements. Women are quietly expected to chase love even if it means discomfort. And that unspoken rule teaches so many women to shrink when they desire to compromise on what we are really looking for, to apologize for having standards, to pretend we want less than what we actually do. I've caught myself doing it. And I see other women doing it all the time. We sometimes say out loud, I want a partner who is successful, stable, accomplished. And the voice gets a little softer, almost apologetic, like we have to add a disclaimer right away. I mean, personally matters too. It's not just about the money, but why do we do that? Why is it so absurd to want stability? Don't even get me started on standards in general. The moment we mention having them, it's like we say something rude or outrageous. What is so wrong with wanting who and what we actually longing for? Why does naming it makes people flinch? Why do we feel we have to justify what we want? Men very rarely do. They state it and keep moving. No sorry, no long explanations. They just say it. Maybe the money thing or the height thing is just the surface. Underneath, it's really about permission to say out loud that I want a life that's safe, that give me room to breathe and grow without apologizing for it, without playing the I'm not high maintenance card, without pretending that settling for less is some kind of moral high ground. That Marilyn moment sticks with me because it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't angry or defensive. It was calm, certain. She didn't argue. She just asked a logical question that no one really wanted to answer honestly. Why is it perfectly acceptable to want the best possible life for your daughter, but somehow wrong for a woman who wants the best possible life for herself? And look, I get that not every woman prioritizes financial stability or height the same way, and that's fine. But the issue isn't the preferences, it's the hypocrisy in how we judge it depending on who expressing it. Maybe confidence is just letting yourself want something without saying sorry right after. Maybe a real maturity is actually choosing what you want instead of waiting for someone else to decide it's okay. And maybe wanting more isn't shallow at all, it's just being honest with yourself. So, if you catch yourself acting that way too, softening, apologizing, shrinking like I do sometimes, let's start right now. Be a Marilyn in a world that keeps trying to box you in. Be the one who asks the question no one wants to answer. Be calm, certain, and unafraid of your own clarity. Say what you want, own it. No disclaimer needed. I'm Gigi, and this was As It Is.